to you from the Yard Dawgs Podcast studio. A show for the fans, by the fans. Talking all things Cleveland Browns. From our mic to your ears. With your hosts, Jason Hand, Mikey P, and Ian ColdTrain Coldiron.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Hello, you are now in the yard. Welcome to the Yard Dawgs Podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans. This is season 4, episode 121. I am your host, Jason Hand. You can find me on Twitter at Browns Huddle. I'm joined by my co-host, Mikey P. You can find him on Twitter at Mikey P422, and Ian ColdTrain Coldiron. You can find him on Twitter at BrownsFan593. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock. It's ironic, ColdTrain. That's your nickname, ColdTrain, but you're about to be the hot train here in a little while.
Yep. Hot chip train.
The hot chip train.
You got it.
Oh, guys, as I was preparing for the show, I don't know if I'm in it's just a weird season as a parent, but maybe you guys can relate. ColdTrain, your daughter's a little bit younger, so this is probably maybe looking into the future for you. But Mikey P, you were talking off air about field hockey, and your daughter has tryouts going on. I have 2 daughters. They're both in sports. I don't know about you guys, man, but every single night of the week, besides Friday, I have something going on. So like Mondays, we have soccer practice. Tuesday is the podcast. Wednesday is track meet. Thursday, soccer practice. Saturdays, volleyball, soccer games. It's absolutely nuts as a parent how busy we are, as well as doing all your work stuff. So I know a lot of our audience can relate. Mikey, can you relate to that right now? What's going on?
Yeah, because my oldest right now is field hockey started this week. So 5 days of practice. And then in 2 weeks, they start games. 2 games a week, every Monday and Wednesday, and then practice on the other 3 days. She's also got spring volleyball getting ready to kick off every Saturday. My youngest is in cheerleading on Saturdays, so we got that going on. In fact, last weekend, my daughter was at my oldest is at a field hockey camp with my wife, and I'm at cheerleading practice with my youngest. It's it's nonstop sometimes.
Sometimes you have to divide and conquer. Your wife is going in one direction with one child, and you're going in a different direction with another child. ColdTrain, man, it's coming, brother. It is coming. But
not too soon for that though. Where she's just not even walking yet, so I don't think I have to worry about that for some years. But no, I
enjoy the ride.
I will enjoy the ride until then. Now I'm in more of I'm way before you guys in the timeline of. We'll just be concerned when she starts walking, and then you got to baby proof all your stuff. And we're in that step first, and then obviously, but hey, who knows? Maybe we'll be on show 3052 at that point, and I can comment on Kaya's soccer practice. Or we actually think she's going to be a swimmer because she loved she had her first pool time as a baby, and man, we had her on a little floaty, and she was kicking back and getting real excited. I mean, it took us by surprise just because we knew she'd, enjoy relaxing, but she was kicking her feet like she was a synchronized swimmer. So maybe there is some future-esque intricacies with her on the trip. But yeah, she loved the boat. She loved swimming. So it was a nice little vacation for the Coldiron family, but definitely could be a future swimmer in our hands here, guys.
There we go. I'll finish up this thought. Mikey, this, and he's gone. Where's he at? ColdTrain. Yeah, Mikey, this. Watching your kids play sports, there is nothing that compares to it. And you guys know that I'm a huge Browns fan, and I get real excited for the game, but man, when I'm watching my kids play sports, it's just a completely different feeling. And so I do like this season, even though I was just complaining about how busy we are with picking them up, dropping them off, practices and that kind of thing. But it's a lot of fun. And honestly, there's a little caveat to this. It's making the offseason go by quick. I don't know if it's that or there's just a lot of Browns news coming out, a lot of good news coming out. But this offseason is going very, very fast. And before we know it, it's going to be, I think the draft is 1 month away is what I just heard. And then after the draft, guys, it's like now we're talking about schedules and preseasons coming out. So it's going to happen super fast.
Mm-hmm. It gets here quick, and then all of a sudden you're like, where did the time go? And then you're just repeating things over and over again. It just seems like things go quick. I mean, like this weekend, like you got WrestleMania, and anytime when I hear WrestleMania is coming, like it's like reminds me that the spring is here. There's core things that you get into, like the Masters is gonna be soon. You got the Final Four coming, and then baseball season. And kind of when baseball season starts, you're like, all right, so I know we got about 2 to 3 months, and then football season is going to kick off heavily. So
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of cool you mentioned that. I will share this with the show and the fans. WrestleMania weekend is always now going to be Kaya's birthday weekend, which is pretty cool. A year ago, me and my wife were watching WrestleMania on the iPad. We brought an iPad with us, thank God. I wasn't going to miss WrestleMania in the hospital. But, where they lock you up when you obviously had your baby, you're there for 2-3 days. But, yeah, we were actually watching Stone Cold Steve Austin giving stunners on an iPad. And now every year, right around WrestleMania, when I start seeing the stuff, I'll know now, as a good father that I am, like, oh, okay, Kaya's birthday is coming up. So it is pretty cool that like I said, my daughter was born during WrestleMania weekend, especially that effect that I'm a huge WWE fan. So we're excited for WrestleMania this year, fellas. I won't be in a hospital on a, dirt thin bed with no pillow. And that is advice to the new fathers out there. If you do ever spend those 2 nights in the hospital, bring your own pillow, your own blanket. They don't tell you that stuff. Your parents don't tell you that stuff. Your friends don't tell you that stuff. That's secret info advice, because trust me, the pillows they have are worse than a jail, and the blankets, it's like you might as well just be putting a feather on you. So
yeah.
Word of advice for future fathers out there on the show.
Yeah, I knew to bring my own pillow after the first one. The second time around, you forget how cold they keep hospitals.
Yeah,
it's always cold in there. And you're like, oh, this blanket will be fine. And then halfway through the night, you're like shivering,
snuggling with a feather.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. Welcome to the Yard Dawgs Podcast. I see we have some comments rolling in from YouTube. Looks like we have one Facebook. Here we go. Brownies is checking in from Facebook. If you're watching this show on YouTube and you see that you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It does help our show and Network 216. I'm going to transition into Browns talk with this simple question. Just a simple question. As you can see, I'm wearing my Browns draft hat from 2021. I absolutely love this hat. I wear it almost every day. I have a job where I don't have to wear a uniform per se, or I don't have to show up with my hair nicely combed and that kind of thing. But I wear this hat and I love it. The new draft hats just came out, and there's some mixed reviews. Some people hate it and they're very boisterous about it on Twitter, and some people love it. Where do you guys stand? Mikey P, I'll start with you, man. What do you think of that new draft hat?
I think it was the white or tan one I saw. That one wasn't my favorite. The brown one I saw wasn't terrible, but I don't know that I've ever bought one of the draft hats. So the one you have, I like that one. I'm the opposite. I tend to buy the salute to service hat every year. And then I try to find hats like, I got this one at the locker room sale. The advantage of being like in the Browns backers is, they invite you out to go to the locker room sale. Like this hat was $5. It's a Flex Fit New Era hat. It's $5. Like
can't beat that.
So
yeah.
The ones this year aren't terrible. I thought they were okay. I thought it would have been cooler if they put Brownie in the middle part instead of the helmet. That's the only thing I would have done differently, but I would not buy the hat.
I did buy the hat. It is coming, my friend. And I didn't get the cream colored one. I got the brown one. I just like that better. I'm kind of tough on hats and they get dirty. So if I bought a cream colored one, it would last about 2 weeks before I had to do something with it. So I went ahead and got one. I think they look good. Here we go. Brownies chimed in, said the draft hats are terrible. Andrew agrees, said not a fan. So you guys aren't alone. And I think that's just a taste thing. ColdTrain, what do you think about the hat?
I mean, I think, I liked it. I would buy it. I mean, to answer your question from earlier, I think my favorite draft hat was when the draft was actually in Cleveland. They were black. They had like kind of that neon orange with the Brownie the Elf right on it on the fitted cap. Those were probably my favorite draft caps. But at the end of the day, I feel like any year they come out, let's just be realistic. It's like any type of fashion out there. I mean, some people love those new red boots, those stupid red boots that are out there. I think they're the biggest, the weirdest stuff or weirdest thing you've ever seen in your life.
They're weird.
Some people think it's, the coolest fashionable thing. So when it comes to the Browns draft hats, I swear on Twitter, because I've been on Twitter now for years, it's the same stuff from the fans. Like half of the fan base is like, oh, this is amazing. I'm buying it right now. And then the other half of the fan base is like, oh, this sucks. Then you got people like Daryl Ryder, comment. And I even tweeted at him this week. I know Mikey saw it, and I just said he was over there. This is why the Browns helmet needs to be updated or whatever. And it's like I tweeted him back. I said, dude, do you like anything the Browns do? Like just anything at all? I mean, there's just unfortunately sometimes you have those people and those fans that just whatever they bring out, whether it's Haslam, whether it's his son, whatever ideas they come out with. It's just going to be never, not everyone's going to be happy, man. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I think they're good. Would I buy it? No, it wasn't. I liked the idea. I didn't, not enough for me to go out and buy it for, I'm sure you paid $35, $40, Jason, usually what the brand new hats cost online. But yeah, I think if you support, some people are just different like me too. Like I would buy it any year. But this particular year, I just, maybe I'll just wait till the games start and I had it at the team shop. So everybody just differs, I think, when it comes to fashion and just the way they want the Browns draft hat to look. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
So I think at some point when they're designing hats, they're no longer designing hats for me.
Right.
They're designing hats for a younger generation. Like that's their target audience at this point. And MC Lawrence asked, what size is my hat? I just showed it's a large, extra large. I wear a large, extra large. In fitteds, I am a 7 5/8. But new era hats, are expensive. They're not cheap at all. I think when they're on sale now, you can get like one on sale for $25, but most of the time they're anywhere from like $35 to $40. And everyone will say they hate the draft hats, and then in a couple months you're going to see people around town that don't, that have them. But I think everyone is just so enamored with Brownie right now, though, that if the same hat, take the helmet logo off, put Brownie on,
yeah,
people be buying them up like crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that, and then that's what I think a lot of it was too. That was going to be my last point. Just forgot. I think if Brownie the Elf was influenced, it probably would have been a lot more open arms, and people would have accepted it just because they're really pushing the Brownie the Elf. But like I said, even my favorite hat from a couple of years ago, they've done it before though. So I think they were just trying to, I don't know, do something different or just, I guess, go old school. I don't know who, like I said, I don't know who designs that stuff. But yeah, I completely agree, Mikey. If they would have had Brownie the Elf, I'm sure, way more people would have been interested.
Yeah, and the team doesn't design the draft hats. New Era gets some, and they basically get final approval or whatever. But I know I saw a lot of people that said they didn't like the draft hats, but it's I think it's because the logo is just big. Each team's name is like big, and like we have a short team named the Browns. Think of somebody like the Buccaneers. That thing's taking up the entire hat.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, We have a lot to get into this show. We're going to talk about the latest Browns news, and there's a lot. We've had some additions during this offseason that's happened since we had Ken Carmen on the show last week. So we have that to get into. We have ColdTrain's punishment, which I think a lot of people are tuning in for. They want to see you suffer, ColdTrain. And we are going to do that towards the beginning of the show, right after these announcements from our sponsors. So ColdTrain, I hope you're getting ready. I know our audience is definitely looking forward to seeing you in some pain as he does the one chip challenge. Let's go ahead and do some housekeeping. Mikey, why don't you tell us about our sponsor with Homage?
The Yard Dawgs Podcast and Network 216 are proud partners with Homage, the apparel company. If you haven't tried Homage yet, you are missing out. Just remember, Homage is always coming out with on-point, cutting-edge sports apparel. Showing support for your team doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. As a bonus, you will get special discounts using our link to shop at Homage. Support the show. Do it in style by shopping for all your favorite sports teams' gear at Homage. Find the link on our website, www.network216ohio.com, or look for Homage links on Twitter at Yard Dawgs Pod. Shop Homage today. And just remember, opening day for the Guardians is actually Thursday this week. They're on the West Coast, but next week they do open back up at home with Seattle. And if you have not seen the Homage starter jacket for the Guardians, it is sharp. I would definitely check that out and order one, because you're probably going to need a jacket on opening day in Cleveland. Typically, it's still pretty cold.
Yeah. We were just talking about Browns draft hats. This is the kind of, I don't know about you guys, this is the time of year when I kind of stock up on my Browns apparel for the next year. So shopping at Homage will definitely help you do that. And like you just mentioned, there's a lot of Guardians gear on there as well. There's promo codes. It's affordable gear. It's all officially licensed. So get on that website. Like Mikey said, you can find the link on our Yard Dawgs Pod Twitter page, or you can check us out on our website. ColdTrain, how you feeling, buddy? Are you nervous? Are you a little nervous about this punishment?
I mean, I told you I wasn't nervous, and then I'm Googling stuff while I'm putting my daughter down tonight, and I'm seeing people are calling the ER and calling 911. I mean, I just want to imagine it had to have been some type of health problem they were having, where they can't handle spicy food, right? I mean, this doesn't just happen all the time, does it?
No.
I wasn't able to Google that question.
I would think if somebody's asthmatic, has like a heart issue or something like that, they probably shouldn't do the one chip shot.
Right.
Diabetic, something like that. Any type of restriction like that, I don't think would be wise.
I know at my daughter's school, the kids were bringing them to school, and on their way to school on the bus, they were breaking them up and passing them out kind of like as a gag. And, as you can imagine, kids were just hating life after they're taking just a little bit of piece of this. And it got so bad to where the principal of the school was actually going around to the 7-Elevens who were selling these, and they say, hey, put these behind the counter, don't sell them to kids. And the 7-Eleven, they honored his request, but it was kind of a big deal last year. So, and I've done the challenge. I know Jacob Roach from the Barking Browns podcast has done the challenge.
Do you have gloves, ColdTrain?
Yeah, I have. I was just going to share that the biggest thing they say is, don't touch it. So I'm going to try to, obviously, I'll show you guys so it's legit. Everyone knows this isn't just a, Target blue tortilla chip I put in my, I'm not really eating a hot chip. I mean, it's legit, but I will have these two pinchers to just pinch it out. Because like I said, I've been told, it even says right here on it, wash your hands with soap and water. And basically they're saying, like, you don't want to touch that coating and then your eyes, and then you got a bigger problem than just the hot chip. But I will share this, what I did read, and this is the truth. This is why it's so damn hot. Maybe you didn't know this, Jason. The secret on these things is why it's so damn hot. They put this shit in pepper sprays. The ingredients that are on this chip is actually in pepper spray. So it makes sense. You're ingesting shit that, basically cops use to take out criminals or whatever. So yeah, the main ingredient in pepper spray is on this chip somewhere, somehow. So that is where all the, I think the challenge comes with it. You're basically ingesting some pepper spray. So,
well, very good.
Sounds like a good time. It sounds like a Yard Dawgs good time.
Oh, this is going to be a great time. This is going to be a great time. This stems from a year-long bet. We predicted the AFC North games throughout the year, and then we actually extended it through the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and it was on a point system. It was a very close race, but ColdTrain just barely lost. It got third place.
Bet it all on Philly. Bet the house on Philly. Mikey took advantage of us and extended the weekly, trying to go XFL on us and UFFL and all this crazy stuff. And then I wanted to pick the Eagles, man. I thought they were a hot team, but unfortunately that hot team is now the reason I'm eating a hot chip. So yeah.
All right. So when you do this, ColdTrain, I wanted to ask you, are you going to refrain from drinking any type of liquids? I know you have some, I think you said sour cream and yogurt to help.
Yeah.
Are you gonna refrain from doing that, or what? What's the plan here?
I'll see how long I can last, but I'm, not to be confused, the fans out there, I'm not posting this on IG. I'm not emailing the company my video. At the end of the day, my punishment was to eat a hot chip. If 30 seconds goes by and I drink some milk, I hope you guys out at home don't judge me. I have to be at work at 5 a.m. So let's just, I'm one of these. I'm here. I'm honoring the punishment. Let's see how this goes. Okay. That's all I can really say, but.
Okay, so how this is going to work is ColdTrain's going to go ahead and eat this chip, and we will get into some Browns questions. For those of you that are watching this show live, if you want to comment a question for ColdTrain as he's devouring this one chip challenge, he will do his best to answer all of our questions. And I do have some written down here, some Browns related questions, some questions that are not. But let's go ahead and get it started.
For those of you that don't know, they do deliver it in a great casket box here, so that you know what you're getting yourselves into. When you open the box, it actually says what to expect, which is, I don't know if this is to scare you or just to brag about their product, but basically it says what to expect: tongue takeover, shock the senses, surge of tears. That should be fun if that happens. Jolt to the gut, can't wait for that one, and voltage overload, whatever that means. That's what it says on to expect.
I think that's tomorrow. Voltage overload. That's probably tomorrow.
It comes with a nice. I crushed the 2022 one chip challenge. Get a nice poster. I guess a keepsake for your. Oh, and look at this, a free bag of chips. Let's see if it's of course it's for the haunted ghost pepper chips. I don't think I'll be wanting any more hot chips after this. But I appreciate that free coupon there, guys. Anyways, let's get to it. Like I said, I have to specifically, it's almost like I have to I want to surgically remove this just because like I said, I don't want any of this dust on my hands if I can avoid it.
And is your mom watching? Is your mom watching?
Lisa is watching somewhere out there. It also is supposed to make your tongue turn blue, but as you can see, this is the real deal. It's
black.
Oh, that's real.
It's pretty much black and looks like a lump of coal. But anyways. I guess I'll just try to get it in one bite just to get over with.
Very crunchy.
I heard it doesn't taste great either.
Yeah.
That was agony.
Yeah, Miss Mama Cold Iron just said she's holding her breath.
Mom is checking in. Mom, are you nervous for ColdTrain? How are we feeling out there, Mom? Anything yet, ColdTrain?
It's like a sawdust of literally. Oh,
There's the tears.
There's the tears.
Yep.
Can we full screen ColdTrain? There goes the milk.
I have to because my.
Oh, not me.
Wow.
I don't know how to do a full screen on ColdTrain.
Oh.
ColdTrain, you all right, buddy?
Yeah, that is. Oh, it's like I've got the hiccups or something. Ooh. Okay. Yep. If I lasted maybe 20 seconds there, holy.
Can you still hear us, ColdTrain?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh. It's like I'm.
The eyes are watering.
Well, it's like making me hiccup. That's what's weird. Did it make you hiccup, Jason?
I don't think so.
That's not good news.
Well, let's see. Mama Cold Iron said, "I have total faith in my son to meet this challenge with class and strength."
Wow. Wow. Oh, I gotta stand up. Wow,
It's getting real, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's extreme. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Oh my,
Mikey, how many minutes ago was that? Was it 2 minutes?
It's been about 2 minutes.
oh,
7:20. Yeah, about 7:29 is when he took it.
oh my. How could anyone enjoy this?
Oh,
How could anyone enjoy this?
Sarah
What's
says
the
she's
point of it?
upstairs if you need more milk. Did you bring sour cream downstairs?
I got yogurt here, but
Okay.
I'm trying to be tough first.
No.
Oh. I'm spitting blue, fellas. Oh,
How much milk do you have?
well, one glass.
Oh, you're going to need more than that, my friend.
Whew. Wow, this is. It's like it. It's like a. It almost. It's like. It comes in a series of fiery hot stages. It goes away, and then you're like, "Oh, maybe I'm good," and then it comes back.
All right. Well, I have just a couple questions for you, ColdTrain. I'm going to do a couple easy ones. Who was the first who was the Browns QB when you first became a Browns fan?
Ooh, boy. Let me think about that. Golly. Because I got to think.
It wasn't Kozar, right? You became a fan after Kozar, right?
Was Tim Couch after Kozar?
Yes.
Well, then yes, Tim Couch.
Tim
Couch, because I remember being in study hall in high school. I never really got into the Browns until I was I was in my 9th grade, 10th grade in my high school. And oh yeah, holy shit. I can't even concentrate. But anyways, I remember
the milk is coming into the picture.
Wow. I remember reading the paper and seeing the highlights of Tim Couch. So yeah, that to answer your question, because I can barely talk as I'm fucking on fire here. Tim Couch was the current QB for ColdTrain's Browns fandom.
Okay, and so you've been a Browns fan at least since 1999. I mean, Tim Couch, that was our first quarterback in 1999. What was your most memorable game as a Browns fan?
All time?
Yeah, all time.
Well, it's easy. The day I asked my wife to marry me.
Nice answer. I love that.
Although we didn't win. But I'll tell you what my favorite as a growing up was. What year was that when we beat the Giants on Monday Night Football? Remember that crazy game we weren't supposed to win? Many, many years ago.
Oh, with Derek Anderson was quarterback?
I believe so. I was in BG at that time. I remember watching it. Like, I think our record was like horrible that year. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. But
was that 07?
It was the year after 07. It was 08. We weren't very we were supposed to be good that year. Things kind of fell apart. Derek Anderson kind of regressed, but that Monday night game, like we smoked the Giants, like smoked them.
Yeah, that was probably the first time I actually was like, oh, I'll get behind this team. Like they're pretty damn good. Holy crap, guys! This is hard. Woo!
Speaking of foods, this is an easy one, ColdTrain. What's your favorite game day food? It's probably not anything spicy.
At the stadium or just at home?
At home.
At home?
Yeah. I know you eat hot dogs at the stadium, right?
Yes. Wings. I'd say wings and a frozen pizza, as long as it's a good frozen pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Like a DiGiorno?
Yeah. Yep.
DiGiorno.
Oh. Woo!
He's struggling.
All right, this is the final question for ColdTrain. It was a close race in our year-long bet, ColdTrain. Like, it was close. We teeter-tottered the whole way through. Can you pinpoint your downfall as the results unfolded in our year-long bet?
Pinpoint the downfall?
Yeah.
What do you mean, when I lost?
Yeah.
Well, the Eagles lost, man. That's why. The Eagles fucked me, man, because like I said, and I've told you guys a couple weeks before on the show, man, that's so hard to talk to you with this hot chip, bro. Mikey picked the other team, or he picked the Chiefs, so I was like, okay, I could be a loser and just be like, oh, I'll pick the Chiefs too, and then we'll go into the XFL and all that stuff. But I said, no, he wants the Chiefs, I'll pick the Eagles. I think they're hot right now, and I laid it all on the Eagles, including a couple $100 on FanDuel that I'll never get back. I threw the whole house on Philly, man. So unfortunately, unfortunately, I can't even read that. I can't even read that comment below, dude. I can't even read it, dude.
This is from MC Lawrence. He says Mrs. ColdTrain is an angel for giving you that milk.
Yeah, she's a good one. That's Sarah Coldine, my wife. She's a good one. I might need that whole jug here in a second. It's weird. I'm sure you can agree, Jason. It comes and goes now.
Yeah.
Like I'll get 10 seconds back in my life, and then it comes back again.
I'm actually sitting here amazed on how well you're taking this. Like you don't look like you're struggling that bad, dude.
Well, most likely it's because my wife and my mom are watching, and you got to be tough when your ladies in your life are watching. You don't want to be that I guess giving it in too much. But I'm sure I'll be crying in my bed later with my wife, and she'll tell you the real deal next week on the show. You have to get her on to tell you how ColdTrain was crying all night long. But no, I'm miserable. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm here.
Is there any perspiration going on? Are you sweating? What's going on?
I'm just spitting out Smurfs, bro. I keep spitting out blue blood. It looks like it's from a Smurf, Papa Smurfs. And then I keep drinking this milk, and the milk is doing absolutely nothing to help, by the way. Thank you, Google, for your, same with the yogurt. They said it fights it. It's what you said earlier, Jason. I think it's more peace of mind because I've been manhandling both of these since I ate the hot chip, and there's really no difference. So maybe it helps you like an hour later or something like that, because I've yet to see the rewards of the drink yet. You guys know, maybe later in the show.
You want to know what's worse about this? I don't know if it was a YouTube video or that was a TikTok challenge, but this guy would go to parties and take one of the hot chips and he put it in like a blue organic bag of chips.
Oh.
And then like take chips to the party, and then he'd put the chips out, and people would eat them. Well, at some point in the night, somebody gets the hot chip.
Oh hell!
And
see that's the thing about hot things. And I will say this while I have a moment, before my next wave of heat comes. But anyways, that taste, that flavor, guys, for people that haven't done it or never will, this tastes literally like coal, like a blue flavored chalk dust of just straight. I mean, it reminds you of those hot wings. Like I always talk to my wife about this stuff, like when they have those super atomic wings, and I go to my wife and go, why does anyone enjoy that? Like I eat one of those and I'm like, I'm good. Like I don't like when shit takes over your body. Like I like hot shit, don't get me wrong. Like I'm like anybody. I like hot wings, double hot me up, extra hot, whatever. But those atomic stuff and when they make stuff like this chip where like it was, I mean, at least I was hoping to tell you guys, oh, this is actually pretty enjoyable. Like it was like one bite that actually tastes pretty good. Man, that was a chalk dusted chip. The chip didn't even taste. The chip tasted stale. The chip wasn't even good. So it's like that just goes back to the whole theory of hot things, where it's like more power to you if you go to the Quaker Steak and Lube, you get the atomic wings, you eat all 6 of them, and you enjoy that. But for me, especially something like this, when it physically takes over your body like this, and like I said, I was hiccuping, not just because I'm hiccuping, but just I don't know the reaction that my body took when it came in my system. I have no idea. And I'll let you guys know next week on the after effects after the show. God knows what I'll experience later on. But I've never been a fan of hot stuff, like I said, that you don't even enjoy a little bit. That's all. I guess I was just hoping for just a little bit of flavor. But that was one of the driest, chalkiest, fucking weirdest thing I've ever eaten in my life. I'll be honest with you. Like, even when you think did I make it worse eating it, but don't you think I should have?
Well, it's got pepper spray in it, ColdTrain. I mean, how good is it supposed to taste?
Yeah, I mean that's what it tasted like, a pepper sprayed tortilla chip.
Oh my gosh! All right, while you're recovering with your milk, I do have a sponsor to tell us about. The Yard Dawgs Podcast and Network 216 are proud partners with BetStamp. Today's podcast is brought to you by the BetStamp app, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you will possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sports books will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, BetStamp allows you to easily line shop the most profitable odds across all sports books. You can click on any matchup and instantly see the different odds for game lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting and maximize your chances on winning long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 per year by line shopping. March Madness is underway. You can make sure you've got all the tools needed to cash in on your predictions. So find the BetStamp app on Apple iOS stores, Google Play stores, or throughout your browser, www.betstampapp.com. That's wrong. www.betstamp.app. There you go. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code 216. Check out BetStamp app today. All right, I struggled through that ad read, but that's okay. So did
you eat a hot chip earlier? You were struggling.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't read. Okay, sorry.
I never learned to read.
Yeah. Let's get into some Browns news. We have about 20 more minutes. I wanted to talk about some relevant things. I guess I'm going to start with the most recent first. We've had a lot go on since our last show a week ago. Lamar Jackson, he sent out a tweet. I thought it was very timely of when he sent that tweet out. It was right at the beginning of the owners' meetings. In my mind, I was laughing because, all the journalists are there. They're interviewing the owners, coaches, and that sort of thing. I could just see their faces when this Lamar Jackson tweet comes out saying that he has requested a trade. I guess this happened back on March 2nd when he requested a trade from the Ravens. I want to get, what was your reaction, Mikey P, to seeing, because we've been hearing rumors about this for a while, and now it's kind of like it was kind of smoldering a little bit, but with that tweet, it started blazing. So what do you think about what's going on with Lamar Jackson, and what do you ultimately think will happen?
I ultimately think what will happen is he's probably going to get traded. Or he's asking to be traded at this point. Was it a coincidence that, they said Indy has shown some interest, and there was somebody reported there was a Baltimore plane in Indianapolis, like the day before. And then he drops this nugget, right around the owner's meetings. Like he dropped it literally while John Harbaugh was at the table taking interviews. So he knew what he was doing. And he has every right to do that. Here's my whole problem with this whole process is too many people have gotten involved in it that are outside. Like we have all these media mouthpieces for the NFL. Like Rich Eisen, you're not looking out for the players' interest. You're looking out for the league's interest. You're employed by the NFL network. We know who you work for and who you're going to kiss ass. So Rich Eisen, take a hike. Like, I think that guy's a total douchebag anyways. But what he's doing is just hypocritical, because I remember one day, Rich Eisen, when you used to work for ESPN and you left to go to the NFL network because you wanted more money and you wanted to get paid more. Did anybody come after you for that back then? No. So these guys that sit there and like Trey Wingo, like same thing. Like these guys will leave at the drop of a hat and go to another media outlet, but they don't expect that these players should better themselves or try to get more money. Like their career is not that long. You can work in media a hell of a lot longer than you can play in the NFL. So I wish these guys sometimes would just shut the hell up. Like let these guys get their money, and they're not doing anything that none of us wouldn't try to do. Like I guarantee you, if someone came to me and told you, hey, we're going to pay you double what you get paid now to come over here and do it with us, I'd be like, okay, here I come. That's how life works. And I just really, when these media guys get on their high horse and all this stuff, and they're trying to blame the Browns for it, I'm like, what the Browns did? The Browns did what they wanted to do. Like they did what they wanted to. They didn't set the market.
Yeah. I'm generally, you have the players side and you have the owner's side. I generally side with the players. You're right. They got to get that money because they're, Mikey P, if your career, we're not going to say what you do for a living, but if your career was only 5 years versus 30 years, you would be very careful on who your employer is and how much you're being paid. Well, the NFL players are no different, right? What's the average player play in the NFL? Is it 4 years? 3 years. 3 years. Now, Lamar Jackson is going to have a longer career than that, but I don't blame him one bit. And you know what? He should get paid because he is talented. He's done nothing but one since he's been in the league. He's dynamic. He'll probably win a Super Bowl one day, and I'm just glad that it's not going to be with the Baltimore Ravens more than likely. So, ColdTrain, what are your reactions to this, and where do you ultimately think he goes, if he even goes anywhere?
My reaction, even today, listening to, a couple teams said they're out on him, Commanders, the Jets, obviously, they don't want to do anything to piss off Rodgers, so they're going to be like, oh, we're not interested. But honestly, he's playing a risky game, Lamar is. He's betting on himself. And honestly, I see in Atlanta, I see a Colts. Those are the couple teams that I could see interested in him. But odd thing about the whole situation is just, Ian Rappaport made a point of it on Pat McAfee's show, which is teams have been able to talk to Lamar for like a month now. So the only reason that I'm just skeptical, and obviously I was celebrating like every Browns fan was yesterday. Woohoo! I'm laughing at that one Baltimore Ravens comedian. Fuck you, Lamar. You're done, bro. We don't need you, dude. All that stuff I was enjoying, but in reality, Ian Rappaport makes a good statement. Why, if the Ravens do March 2nd and basically Lamar has been able to talk to teams, why isn't there any juicy hot rumor? Like, where is the interest? I don't understand it. Is it? Even my wife told me today, which yes, my wife, she's now going football as well. She was telling me that Irsay commented saying he doesn't like the idea of the guaranteed money. It's possible Haslam really did, make this crazy. Pissed off all the owners to where some owners, they just don't like these guaranteed contracts. I mean, not everyone is Jimmy Haslam. Not everybody can afford stuff like Jimmy Haslam, but making that Watson contract how they did, I don't, like I said, again, I'm not saying he won't get, trust me, if the team wants him, they'll get him. But it is an interesting play by Lamar because he's truly betting on himself. I predict either he gets traded or it's going to be a situation similar to Watson in Houston or when AB did it to Pittsburgh, where he will either be at home for the year or he'll ride pine for basically say maybe he won't sign the tender or not sign it, whatever, but he'll still be affiliated with the team per se. But basically that Ravens will just screw him to where that's like, all right, you don't want to play for us, you're not going to play for anybody. And that's what I see as the plan B if they don't get their way and Lamar doesn't get their way. It's just going to be a standoff. My issue with the whole complication, though, and the whole situation is, though, make a decision here. If I'm Baltimore and he's told me, I don't know what they're waiting on. If he's told you physically he wants a trade, I'd be on the phones with every team. Make it simple. Give me 2 first-rounders and a freaking second or whatever it is that they package. I don't know what the weight is. I'm just so curious on just Baltimore in general. What are you guys doing over there? I don't understand the whole situation. I don't understand the process. But in the end, as a Browns fan, as an AFC North fan, I hope to God he gets the hell out of Baltimore. And I hope, everything stands, where it is and he ends up getting traded. But we shall see.
It's Kirk Cousins in Washington all over again. The whole time Washington wanted to re-sign Cousins, but they kept playing this game thinking that he would sign back with him. And then the relationship just got so bad that it wasn't salvageable. And I think it's the same way in Baltimore right now.
100%.
The relationship has soured. And you keep hearing all these people with Tyrone Huntley, he did just as good as Lamar did. I'm like, no, he didn't. They fell out of the playoffs the year before when Huntley came in and played good for a handful of games, and then
he did.
He got figured out. I just don't. Baltimore talks out of one mouth and then does another thing. I just think they've played their hand to the point where it's it almost feels like Lamar would rather just say F it. I just assume not play than play for you. I've made money.
Well, and even Harbaugh, how arrogant he sounds in these interviews where he's like, oh, I got Lamar on, he hasn't said this specifically, but it's I got Lamar on speed dial. That's our guy. We got our, we know Lamar will be back. And it's just I don't know if I'd be talking like that right now. Dude, he literally just tweeted, he's done. And you're in interviews even after the tweet, we'll be good. We'll be good. Are you sure? Do you guys really believe that over there? I don't. Like I said, what's going on in Baltimore? I just don't understand.
And you also got to remember, they could have had Lamar signed 2 years ago when Buffalo was signing Josh Allen to their contract. They waited trying to play their hand.
But no, it was the Browns' fault, Mikey. They're going to put on the Browns the Deshaun Watson contract. No, you just said it. They could have done it 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, what will be interesting is when we get into the Joe Burrow is if the Bengals try to do the same thing and strong on Burrow. If I keep hearing that it's the Browns' fault, I'm going to be like, no, It's these billionaires who want to keep their money in their pocket because they want to sign a quarterback to a contract he's never going to see the money for. And these players are catching on to this. Like, I will never side with a billionaire. Like, I know these players, some of them are millionaires, but I'm closer to them than I am the billionaire. So I'm always going to side on their, because that billionaire is going to stay in place for years. Like, everyone talks about Dan Snyder, but Dan Snyder sells the team. He's still a billionaire. I don't care if he's an asshole or not. He's still going to be a billionaire at the end of the day. He's probably going to be a rich ass billionaire even more once he sells the team. Like, it's not a punishment at that point. Like, these guys play a tough ass sport. Like, anyone that says football is not tough, like, baseball is the toughest sport to play. Bullshit. Strap on some pads, let somebody hit the shit out of you, and you tell me that baseball's tougher than football. And I love baseball, but totally different sports with the physicality. These guys take a beating. They play with head injuries. They play with injuries they shouldn't be playing with. These guys, you see them older in life, like struggling to walk from all these injuries that occur that they played through. Like, I just say, make it happen. Like, figure it out. Either work out an agreement with them or trade them.
Yeah. Did you guys see Reflog's tweet? The butterfly effect?
Yeah. It's Anthony Schwartz's fault.
It's Anthony Schwartz's fault. For those of you that didn't see it, it says Anthony Schwartz stops route early. This is the butterfly effect. So this is kind of like what happened to lead up to the Lamar Jackson leaving the Ravens. Anthony Schwartz stops route early. Baker gets hurt on resulting interception. Baker plays hurt. Baker not the same. Browns trade Baker. Browns need QB. Browns give Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed contract. Lamar Jackson wants fully guaranteed contract. Lamar Jackson leaves Ravens. And it all started, what'd you say, Mikey P?
Anthony Schwartz.
Anthony Schwartz.
It's all Anthony Schwartz's fault.
Yeah.
If he doesn't undercut that route, then we're not in this place. But
we're not in this place. It's fascinating, right? I mean, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, kind of. I mean, like I like the way he plays, but because he plays for Baltimore, my fandom for Lamar Jackson can only be so high. So I would love to see him in the NFC. Heck, even the AFC, I would settle for if it's out of our division. Obviously, it would be out of our division, but I would like to see him out of Baltimore. I really would. And I know a lot of fans, you guys probably the same. Just get him out of Baltimore.
Someone needs to go to the NFC because, damn, they don't have any quarterbacks anymore. Like, it's about to be the Jalen Hurts show for a decade at this rate.
Yeah, because everyone's – and that's what's crazy about the AFC, NFC. Everyone's loading up in the AFC where the NFC is just like, if you got a decent quarterback, the NFC, you're like you just said, Mike, you're good for you're going to make the playoffs for 10 years. You might even win 7-8 games, but you're going to make the playoffs. I mean, it's I don't understand how lopsided that we ended up here, but it sucks being in the AFC. I'm not going to lie. It sucks. I wish the Browns, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. I wish the Browns got like a veto to like go to the NFC for a couple of years just because we've been so bad forever.
I mean, yeah, the NFC
is what it is.
Yeah, like, I still would love to see it happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but if I was San Francisco right now, I'd be calling Baltimore and saying, "Hey, we're going to send you Trey Lance. You're going to get a first-round guy with first-round talent. We're going to send you Trey Lance, and then we're going to give you a couple picks, and then we're going to take Lamar and put him on San Francisco."
Yeah,
I'd root for the 49ers.
Yeah,
I just want Lamar to play for a team that's not the Ravens at this point. Like, I loved him coming out of Louisville. He's a fun player. All these people say he's a running back. Like, he can make throws. He played with some of the worst receiving cores ever in Baltimore and made some of those guys look good. He does well with the tight ends. So I'm like, man, imagine him and George Kittle out in San Francisco and Deebo Samuel, man, that'd be fun to watch.
I could see him as a Cowboy. You think Jerry Jones would pick up the phone?
No, he loves Dak Prescott, dude. He loves Dak.
It's the Dak deal, because then they'd have to trade Dak to somebody, and who's gonna would Baltimore take Dak back and that salary? I don't think so.
Yeah, Jerry Jones loves Dak too much, anyways. He's never gonna trade Dak.
I don't know. Ezekiel's gone.
I thought the Giants could have been in play until they went out and gave Daniel Jones money, and people were like, "Well, Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson." I was like, "You should just be smacked in the face just for saying that." Like, Lamar Jackson's a totally different quarterback than Daniel Jones, and I'm like, he just gave him $40 million. I'm like, I was kind of at first I thought about the Giants could have been in play, but then they gave Daniel Jones stupid money.
Well, we'll definitely keep tabs on that. The last two things I want to talk about are moves that were made since we last met, and that is the Elijah Moore trade and also the signing of Marquise Goodwin. Now, our wide receiver room is really shaping up. Mikey P, me and you were talking pre-show, and you said that the Browns would, on their final roster, they would have 5, possibly 6 wide receivers make the final roster. So, first of all, your reaction to the Elijah Moore trade, it was, I thought it was a great trade. Basically, the Browns get Elijah Moore. The Jets get our second round pick, but we get their third round pick. So we basically went down, 30 spots in the draft? Is it 30 spots? Which was, I think, a great trade for the Browns. I feel good about it. You know, there was talks about Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if they were just not serious enough, or the asking price was too high. Is Jerry Jeudy a better receiver than Elijah Moore? Probably. I mean, he has more playing time than Elijah Moore, but their paths, I think, they're similar. I think, Elijah Moore's very fast. A lot of people are thinking that he might be a slot receiver, but I've been hearing that, he can also play, a wide out as well, with swapping in and out with Donovan Peoples-Jones. But I want to get you guys' reactions. ColdTrain, I'll start with you, but I will say MC Lawrence said he's surprised you're taking that one-chip challenge so well. He's kind of disappointed.
Well, I mean, it's still, dude, trust me, the feelings is still there, but the initial, basically, I should say inferno mouth is gone or subsided for now. So I'm able to talk. But I'm sure the yogurt and milk, like I said again, I mean, now if I was sitting here trying to do the show for a half hour, it would have been a lot more entertaining. But the milk and yogurt hopefully helped a little bit. But what were you asking me about
Elijah Moore? What was your reaction to the trade to get Elijah Moore here in Cleveland?
Well, it's kind of cool. I had kind of a Joe Thomas moment. I'm sure my wife can back me up on this. It's not made up. It's a true story. We were actually fishing out on Marco Island. I was on vacation with my wife. I was fishing. And of all time, like most of the time you're on I'm on my phone 24/7 looking for Browns updates. I'm like any fan, looking for, any second, 49 minutes, whatever. You see when it was posted, the rumors, is anything true? And then my phone goes off and we're fishing. I'm on the boat. I felt like Joe Thomas because I'm on a fishing boat. And I'm like, oh my God, they traded for somebody. Like, this is crazy. Like, I didn't see this coming. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was having a great time fishing. But once that, I'm like any fan, once that trade came through, now I'm Googling Elijah Moore's stats. I'm looking how he did last year. I'm looking at anything I can read on Elijah Moore, which I already knew who he was. But I was ecstatic, man. I mean, I'm huge on speed. I think the speed is what gets San Francisco wins. Speed is what gets the Kansas City Chiefs wins. These smaller speedster guys, let's just be realistic, guys, they get their teams to where they need to be. We've never really had that in Cleveland. So just the idea of Elijah Moore and then the other guy, Goodwin, that's a whole nother, topic. But Elijah Moore specifically, his stats aren't eye-popping because if you guys remember, they drafted him a year before the rookie. And then Wilson started panning out to where he got a lot of the looks, for that team where Elijah was kind of put on the back burner. But if you look at his Ole Miss, when I got back from fishing, obviously the first thing I did, I went on YouTube. I saw all his highlights from Ole Miss. I mean, this dude's a freaking stud, man. This is what I think the Elijah Moore trade was Andrew Berry finally saying to him and his top brass going, all right, we dropped the ball on Schwartz. I'm a man to admit it. Let's make up for that mistake. Because he even said recently in an interview, I love speed. Don't get it twisted. I'm a huge fan of speed. But if you remember, we had that kick returner last year, Jakeem Grant. He got hurt. Schwartz ended up being a bum, brick hands. The year before that, the kick returner, same thing, got hurt. I forget what was it, Jody Nelson, or what was it, the Ram, the St. Louis Ram, got hurt as well. So Nelson. For whatever reason, Nelson, whatever reason, we've never really had a guy that can throw. Besides, this is honestly since Travis Benjamin days, I would say we've never had that guy that just goes out and gets it, throw him 90-yard on a 90-yard out route, and just hope he catches it. And that's what Elijah Moore is. So for me, it's a weapon for Deshaun. With the addition of Goodwin, too, it's the same shit. You got two speedster guys, a guy that's an older vet. But I was huge on Twitter. I know some fans didn't like the move. I was huge on it because at the end of the day, you dropped back 30 spots. You sold your second round. You gave away your second round pick. You gained another third. But in the end, you drop back. You're not going to get Elijah Moore talent in the second round at that spot. I'm sorry, not instantly. How they're looking. So they made the trade for playing for it now. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of it. I think Elijah Moore is going to tear it up for us. I think you'll be seeing. I don't want to go crazy, you guys, but at least a 7-8 touchdown year from Elijah Moore. At least that would be the low tier.
Dude, I mean, Deshaun Watson. Everybody has been talking about Brandon Cooks. We need to sign Brandon Cooks because that was Deshaun Watson's guy in Houston. Well, Elijah Moore, to me, is like a young Brandon Cooks. They're both fast. I mean, this could be a really good thing for Deshaun Watson. I mean, and Elijah Moore has not had a good quarterback yet in this league. He hasn't. So, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, they're putting all these weapons. I mean, Deshaun Watson got his tight end that he had in Houston also recently. So they're putting all the weapons around him. And Elijah Moore, we got him at the right price, just kind of like Amari Cooper last year. We got Amari Cooper at the right price. So I like our wide receiver room the way it's shaping up. There's going to be a lot of competition in training camp in a lot of positions, but specifically what we're talking about tonight, the wide receiver room. If there's 5 or 6 spots, I mean, you got Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, Marquise Goodwin, David Bell, and then Jakeem Grant is number 6. And you still have the Michael Woods. I mean, there's some players on this roster that they're bubble players. And Mikey, I want you to share what you said pre-show. You said we have 3 wide receivers that are a lock, and then we have some bubble players as well. 4. I'm sorry. If you'll share that. Say
DPJ, Cooper, Moore, David Bell are probably your 4 locks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you probably have 2 positions people are battling for. I would say Goodwin. I'll include Schwartz in that. I don't think Schwartz will make it unless he takes some huge leap this year.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to 2 spots for, Jakeem Grant, Goodwin, Schwartz, Mike Woods. But, Mike Woods is probably a guy that could be on your practice squad. I don't see them keeping Anthony Schwartz, past this year on the practice squad. Like it might just be time just to cut ties and move on there.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was a fun episode. We talked a little bit about the wide receiver room. We got the punishment out of the way. ColdTrain, how you doing, buddy? Are you recovered? Are you doing? You look like you're doing good.
Like I said, it's still there, but it's subsiding. Subsiding a little bit. Thank God. So
Well, good. Well, we have to land this plane. The Barking Brown show is coming on next. We're running a little bit behind, so I'm sure that Nick Carnes and Jacob Roach are patiently awaiting for this show to end. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So if you're watching this show, stay tuned for the Barking Brown show. And they're coming on next. We will see you next week. This has been another exciting edition of the Yard Dawgs Podcast. I like to end all of our shows with the Go Browns. So Mikey P, Ian ColdTrain, if you'll join me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Browns. We'll see you next week.